Fucking ass kicked again. Damn it, Jack. Why are you such a pussy? I will pull your soul into my knuckle bones.
The battle is not over yet. You must destroy the mask. Whatever you do, you must not wear it.
Slight bug there.
Can you hear me? It is vital you cast the mask away. And the world will bow at your feet. Listen to me. Destroy the mask now. Wear me, and you shall be immortal.
Yeah, I don't trust this.
Destroy it.
Who was that talking anyway? Oh, I guess it's not giving me a choice. Okay.
I told you I could not be killed so easily, hero.
It's pretty lame that it gave me a choice. Unless it did and it was timed and I didn't see it. Unless, oh.
The dragon was slain, and yet a tremor ran through the world. Skies darkened, and every man, woman, and child in Albion succumbed to a petrified hush. The hero and Jack of Blades were one. What chaos and pain they would bring, none could say. Yet here our tale must end. And what happened to the guild and its heroes? That is a story for another time.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid. It didn't give me a choice. Again, maybe it did. I didn't see any kind of option there to cast it away. I was thinking maybe it was like, oh, you have to hurry up and destroy it or you get overcome. But it's kind of stupid that they, after all that time giving you these choices of what you want to do, they went with the old chaotic, stupid trope, if you will, where if you're evil, of course you're going to always do the thing that gives you power or whatever because you're an idiot and you're not smart enough to think, hey, maybe this is some kind of trap and this won't go well. So it's a shame after all of that, all those choices you're given as far as evil or neutral or good or whatever, it ends with, you're so evil, you just destroy the mask. And again, this is obviously void if it actually did give you a choice and I just somehow missed it and gave me the option to destroy the mask, because I was definitely going to destroy it. Because I figured something like that was going to happen. So yeah, I was definitely going to destroy it. So pretty lame that it forced you to do it just because you're evil. Because I'm assuming if you were good, you automatically would have just have thrown the mask away. God, that would be even more dumb if you were like good and you're like, you put the mask on anyway. Or maybe it decides based on who you sacrifice. I don't know, but it's probably by alignment. I think that's a relatively safe guess. But anyway, well, that was Fable: The Lost Chapters. Here's where I normally do a mini off-the-cuff review of the game. Overall, it was very good. And I mentioned this several times during the Let's Play. I think this game was mostly marred by the things that Peter Molyneux said it was going to be and that it absolutely did not deliver on. He made a bunch of grand promises about all the incredible things that you're going to be able to do and the huge changes to the game world you're going to be able to make and all these things, and none of it came to fruition. Like the game that he produced was good, but not what he said. It's basically like if a car manufacturer was talking about this new car that was going to be faster than the Ferrari and more comfortable than Oldsmobile, the more luxury cars, and more gas efficient than electrical hybrid car, and all these promises. But then he turned out like a Honda Accord. It's like, well, it's still a good car, but it's not any of the things you said it was going to be, or it's not many of the things you said it was going to be. And which is a problem with Peter Molyneux. He often way over promises and under delivers. So anyway, but as a RPG, if you ignore all that, I think it's a lot of fun. I really like the game world. I really like the art style and the voice acting and the kind of tongue-in-cheek humor all come together really well. I think that it presents a package that is definitively Fable, right? Like, just listening to the voices and looking at the art and the different styles of this really creates of its own. And I think it meshes together really well. It doesn't feel like, wow, this humor is really out of place or anything like that. I think it all fits together very, very, very nicely. And it's just looping the credits, it looked like. So when I get finished with my review, I guess I'll escape out, because I don't know if there's anything after credits. Probably not. It is showing different parts of the wall. I also like this aspect where it's like painting parts of your history on the wall as you progress, even though that doesn't really change much as you go through, regardless of your alignment. I think most/all of this is the same. But yeah, so it all comes together, a really good package. The voice acting was really good. The experience system, as I've mentioned several times, I think is one of the best in any RPG I've ever played. I always like the idea that you get more experience from doing what you normally would be doing. For example, if I use archery to kill enemies, I get better at the bow. I get better at archery type skills. If I use melee, I get better at melee just naturally. And this game feeds into that while giving you options so that you get your archery XP for killing enemies, but then you get general XP so that if I haven't been using magic or strength type abilities, I can still use those general XPs to increase my health, increase my strength, increase my magic, or grab certain magic powers that I want to start trying out. Games like Skyrim, where theoretically you can just do what you want, you get skill ups when you use a bow, for example. If later on you're like, hey, I want to start using two-handed axe, well, your two-handed axe is going to be total trash to start with, and will be for a long time. So I think this fixes that by, again, giving you the general XP to improve those skills even when you're not using them. So I like the system. Now, I will agree that there's not enough abilities, like the strength and skill categories in particular don't have enough like diversification. Like strength only has hit points, melee damage, and how much damage you take, and then skill is the same way. You only have 3 abilities. So you kind of run out of things relatively quickly, even if you want to specialize, which is, kind of is pretty unfortunate. But this was, many, many years ago that this was made. Well, not many, it was like, what, early 90s, I think? Or not early 90s, early 2000s? Shit, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if they improved this in later Fables. I have not played them. I probably won't play them, especially 3, at least any time in the near future. The music was pretty good throughout. Ambient sounds were good. The combat worked. It wasn't great, but it worked. It wasn't amazing. Obviously, being able to decapitate people with arrows was the best feature, without question. There's definitely frustrating parts. The AI is horrifically bad, especially if you had to escort people or if you hired mercenaries. I don't know why I have such a problem with the mercenaries lately, but if you hire mercenaries, half the time they just stand there like an idiot while you fight the other enemies. And you also, of course, have those problems where, and especially on escort quests, where an enemy AI will lock into a certain person, and sometimes it's the person you're trying to escort, and completely ignores you beating the shit out of them and will quickly kill your escort. That's incredibly frustrating. And like there's other quests where it actually spawn enemies in as you're trying to save them, and if you try to do it smart and have one guy stay back by the doors, he ends up dying because enemies spawned on top of him. Just really dumb shit like that is very, very frustrating. It's just some bad, not really even a design problem, but more of an AI design type issue. Maybe it was a limitation at the time that they couldn't keep the enemies from switching back and forth constantly, so like, screw it. He locks on to whoever was the very first target he gets. So that was definitely unfortunate. But for the most part, the combat and the AI the AI wasn't very good. The combat was mediocre. The story itself was interesting. It's kind of the generic, there's this one guy trying to gain ultimate power to rule the world, and you're the only person who can stop him. It was all right. There was this little bit of a bonding you get with your mother and your sister a little bit, but they weren't really there enough to really care that much about them. The sister was more of a pity. Well, I guess both of them was more of a pity thing, with your sister being blinded and left for dead at 8, and then your mother being, tortured and in prison for, decades. So that sucked pretty bad for them, I guess. So I guess that was kind of a bad thing. Well, I just read this in the credits. Fable takeaway count: 3577 Indian meals, 2828 Chinese meals, 1915 pizzas. Wow. How is Indian the highest? It should always be Chinese. Kung Pao chicken all day, every day. Oh, I guess that's Jack getting Maze to join him. I would actually like to have known a little bit more about Jack of Blades. I don't think they really touched on like who he was, like how he got all this power. I don't recall them really hitting on that a lot, or at all really. So he was kind of this mysterious figure who he feels more mysterious, not because he has this mysterious past, but because they just didn't talk about it for whatever reason, which was pretty kind of lame. So anyway, my overall score on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being pretty much a perfect game, which I've never given a game a 10. A 5 being, it's got, equal good parts good, equal parts bad. I would probably give this game I'd give it an 8, a 7.5, or an 8. It was a lot of fun to play, other than a few quests that were really frustrating. I had fun almost overall. There's a decent amount of side things to do, like fishing and opening demon doors, but there wasn't a lot of it. But you do have to kind of factor in the time scale, so I would probably lean more towards a 7.5 than an 8. I would like to have seen more options with your skills. I'd like to have seen more, a better combat system, more kind of cohesive, story, again, between like what's going on with Jack and a reasoning behind everything that's going on. But overall, about a 7.5 to an 8. Again, more leaning towards a 7.5, I think. And as far as a price,
you're now evil enough to use the vulgar thrust expression.
Sweet. Thought I had that
Just learned the insult expression. You're now good enough to use the thanks expression.
Is that all? Okay. I like how the Guildmaster's still telling me this stuff, and he's dead. Or maybe he's just giving you everything. What the cockle-doodle-doo? Sometimes the only sane response to the hardships of life at Albion is to flap your wings and compete with the chickens. Maybe he's just giving you everything at this point. It's like, wow. I don't know if there's like more quests and whatnot to do afterwards. I almost certainly won't be doing them. I'm just going to kind of run while I finish talking about the review. I also like to give a price review, and what that is a good price that I think if you can find it for, you should pick it up. I don't know what this game goes for normally on PC for the Lost Chapters. If you're an RPG fan, without question, $30, $35, I would suggest paying for this without, hesitation. I think that's an easy sell. Nope, that's the wrong spell. Good job. And if you, just kind of like RPGs, wow, the damage again on that is insane. 1781. If you just kind of like RPGs, I still think you could get 20 to 25. Now, if you're the type who's not that into RPGs and would probably only play, one, like you wouldn't do all the demon doors, you're not going to do the fishing, you're not going to try to do everything. The lowest price I would recommend, unless obviously you just don't like RPGs, then I don't even know why you'd be even considering it. Because if you don't like RPGs, you're probably not going to like this game. But if you, kind of like RPGs and you mostly don't do the side quests, the lowest price I would say is 15. And I think you would still get your money's worth out of it at 15. So yeah, this has been Fable, The Lost Chapters. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series so far. Wow, I look like a total badass when I'm get the Berserk spell and I got the mask on. Looking mighty sick there. I don't think you can take the mask off either. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna check it real quick. Nope, cannot take it off. Makes sense. That's fine. I still really hate you couldn't get a choice. I'm about to go watch the scene again and see if I missed a prompt to not wear it, but I don't think that's the case. One last thing, let's go check the guild. I'm assuming the guildmaster's gone since he's, you know, dead. But yeah, this has been the Let's Play of Fable Lost Chapter. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Obviously, this has been on PC as well. As always, leave comments in the comments section below. Let me know what you thought of this series. Follow me on Twitter. That's the best place to catch me. I keep it pretty up to date. Or I update pretty regularly on it. So yeah, it looks like everybody's just like, eh, whatever. You killed the guildmaster, no big deal. Hey, guess you don't really care that I did that? Nope, nobody cares. Nobody really cared about the guildmaster. Yeah, again, I've killed Jack twice, and I'm really just going to be scared of a security guard. So anyway, that's it. Thank you guys for watching my Fable Let's Play. Again, blah, blah, blah. Leave comments, all that. And I shall see you next time.